Hi, I'm Lori LeBay of Alzheimer's Speaks. Today I want to share with you a story that happened to me when I was 13 years old. It's almost 40 years ago, but it's still fresh in my soul, and it is part of the reason of what drives me today to make change and find new ways to deal with Alzheimer's disease. You see, when I was 13 years old, my great aunt Mary was in a nursing home. And routinely, our family would go to visit her once to twice a week. And I'll never forget this beautiful summer afternoon where my mom and my little brother Scott and I went to visit Aunt Mary. And on that particular day, my aunt didn't know who I was. And to me, I felt I was the closest to her between my mom and my brother, and I couldn't figure out why she didn't know me, why she didn't recognize me, why she didn't love me anymore. Why? Why was I no longer important to her? I was devastated as a teenager, and I remember crying in the room. I remember crying on the way home. I remember bawling my eyes out for 2 weeks solid, trying to understand why this woman I loved so much didn't care for me anymore. Why she didn't know who I was. And 40 years ago, there wasn't much for answers. People would say, that's what happens when you get old, Lori. People get senile. People lose their minds. People go crazy towards the end, honey. It has nothing to do with you. It's just the way it is with aging when we get old. And I remember always thinking, those answers aren't good enough. Because I knew down deep in my heart that my aunt still loved me. There was no way she would forget me. There was no way she would push me intentionally out of her life. And as I grew, I kind of forgot about that moment. And I went on about my life, like we all do. And then, a little while later, my mom starts having memory problems. And for 30 years now, I've been dealing with my mother's memory loss. Kind of ironic, because she was the one trying to reassure me that Aunt Mary still loved me, and it really had nothing to do with me. It was just what happened when people got old. And through this 30-year journey with my mom, she has given me the opportunity to see the disease up close and personal. To be able to feel it and analyze it and find new and better ways over 30 years of living with it. And I'm here to tell you there are a lot of positives that can come out of this disease. This disease, Alzheimer's, has been a gift to me personally. It has changed my life in so many ways. It makes me view things from a totally different perspective that I probably wouldn't have even looked at before. Most of us are going to be touched by this disease in some fashion. The likelihood of each of us getting it is increasing. The likelihood of us caring for somebody with this disease is huge. And I'm not going to go into all the statistics, but if you want them, go to alz.org. That's the Alzheimer's Association. And they are loaded with statistics. And when you read them, you might be a little scared. But why I share this story is because we are all pushing for a cure. And I agree, I want a cure. I don't want to see anybody else get this disease. But bottom line is, people are living with it today. Millions of people in the U.S. alone, 5.4 million people have this disease, and the numbers are just going to rise. And we cannot wait for a cure. We need to come together. We need to collaborate. We need to join forces, and we need to start talking honestly and openly about this disease. We need to listen to those with the disease. The face is changing. This is no longer about the elderly. People are going to be living with this disease for a third to a half of their life, like my mother. That, I believe, is going to be the common denominator. And so we have to find how to live with it. Because this is not a disease of one. This is a disease of the masses. I would love your help and support. I would love to hear your ideas. I'd be glad to push them out on the Alzheimer's Speaks blog, or possibly even interview you on the radio if you're a person living with the disease, or a caregiver, or a service provider that has something special to offer. Let me know. Let's join forces. Let's change things on a global state together. We can do it. Just shoot me an email or call me. Let's not have any more children or family members have to go through what I went through at 13. There's no reason, because we're not alone.